Good evening, my fellow athletes. My love for sports has always been a part of my life ever since I was a kid. I was very much into watching any type of sport that came on TV, no matter the sport. One sport that I loved to watch, in particular, was rugby. It wasn't on that TV that often, but when I would scroll through the guide and I'd see it, I'd always seem to click on it, and I just catch myself watching it because it was very entertaining and it was full of energy. As a kid watching rugby, seeing these grown men absolutely obliterate each other with no sort of protection or pads or a helmet, I thought to myself that I would never see myself in the future playing the sport. Fast forward to my sophomore year of high school, one of my best friends reached out to me and brought up that there was a call-out meeting that day for the rugby team. And my initial reaction was, I can't do that. Like, there's no way I can do that. I'm just going to get killed. But I thought, I'll give it a try, see what I think. One of my good friends is playing, so, it'd be good to be with him and spend some time outside of school doing something fun, So once I arrived, everyone on the team seemed so welcome and friendly. And I even had a couple more friends that showed up, and so I decided to give it a shot. And after going to several practices, I quickly realized that it's a lot safer than I thought. To begin with, some of the rules that make it safe that I quickly learned. For example, tackling low. That is very strongly suggested in the game of rugby. There's a really strict rule where if you tackle above the shoulders, that's an automatic penalty, and you can even be thrown out of the game for actions like that. So it's really strongly enforced to tackle below the shoulders at all times to keep both the players safe in this situation. And here's an example of that.
It takes two to tackle, and while it's obviously important that you stop the other guy scoring a try, it's equally important that you both get up afterwards. A high tackle is anywhere above the shoulders and is rightly against the laws of the game. Not only are low tackles more likely to be successful, they're also less likely to result in a broken neck. When tackling, be aware at all times of the position of your head. Both players are going to come crashing to the ground, and you want to make sure your head's not going to get squished between the ground and the guy you're tackling.
Also, some of the equipment that make it safe, we use mouth guards so that, protects your teeth. In some cases, we use scrum caps. They are used for specific players and in certain situations, like scrums. They keep your ears from tearing at the seams here because you're head to head with people, and it's very possible that your ears can get pulled back quite a bit. So this cap kind of keeps everything intact. It doesn't really affect like concussions and stuff like that, like a helmet would. It's kind of a soft, padded thing that goes over your head, but it keeps everything in place. Another thing that keeps people from playing the sport of rugby is a big thing, is the stigma behind it. A lot of people that hear rugby and have seen it on TV and have heard about it, it's really portrayed as a very violent and barbaric sport. Like, everyone gets injured all the time and it's very unsafe. But when it really comes down to it, it's not. There are a lot of things integrated within the sport that make it safer than people think. Like I said, the equipment, there's minimal equipment, but there is a couple things that make it safe. There's also really strict rules involved. Another thing, people think that rugby players don't have any respect for each other and everyone's just trying to blow each other's head off. That's not the case. There's a very high... I've played multiple sports in my life, and I've never received the amount of sportsmanship and class and respect that I've gotten from other players when I'm playing in a game. So this really makes it safer in a way, because everyone's out there to have fun and not to rip your head off. People have a lot of respect for you out there and a lot of class, and it's a really beautiful thing when you see it and when you're a part of that. One of the things that really got me involved was one of my first games. It was an away game in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was so excited. I was so pumped. I'd never played a game that wasn't on our home field, and I had a lot of nerves going through me, but I told myself that I'd just go out there and have fun. And as the game started, I kind of got more in my element and got more comfortable. And it began to pour down rain, and the field we were playing on wasn't turf. So it was all grass and mud. And it just, within minutes, it just became a mud bath. And as the game went on, I'd made several tackles, and I was covered head to toe in a thick layer of mud. But I had so much adrenaline run through my body that was the last thing I was thinking of. I'd never, up until this game, I've never scored a try, and that was definitely a big goal of mine going into the season. And we started pushing down the ball kind of late into the game, pushing down the ball down the field, and I saw the ball about 3 to 4 feet away from the try line, just sitting there out of the scrum, and I saw my opportunity. I picked it up and dove in, and it was one of the greatest feelings I've had in my life, just being able to score that for my team and for some of my friends, and it was amazing. In Kentucky, where I've never played, in the pouring down rain, covered in mud, getting all these celebrations from my fellow teammates was just an amazing feeling. So ever since that, just my love for the sport has just bloomed over time, and I love it. So thank you all for listening, and keep playing rugby. Thank you.